So I've seen a lot of like posts and stuff about how the Model M has a really bad like rollover for games. That's being one of like the main things that people talk about when they're giving the pros and cons of a Model M. That it feels great for typing, but that it sucks for games. And I tend to disagree with that. I play a lot of Destiny 2, right? And that requires a lot of sprinting, so holding shift and jumping and reloading at the same time. Lots of Counter-Strike, lots of games like that. And I disagree with that. I think the rollover is fine. It does have 2-key rollover, which means that some combinations of keys won't work. But that does not apply to the entire keyboard like some people think. A lot of people think that I can't, I can only hold shift and R and I can't press anything else. It's not true, obviously. I'm using, my Model M right now. Some combinations with more than 2 keys don't work. A big example for me being Control Alt and the arrow keys, which I use. Well, some arrow keys, obviously. Down doesn't work, but left and right do. Now, that can be a downside for some people, understandably. But for games, like all the keys I use for games work fine. Like I can, I could sprint, walk, reload, jump at the same time. It's fine. Realistically, for like the WAS cluster, anything you're gonna use over here, it's more like 4 or 5 key rollover. It's not really as bad as people like to say it is. The other thing is the response time, or the heft of the keys. In terms of response time, I've tested it using the program on your screen right now, Switch Hitter, and going through the converter I have, which is a Soros converter, it's the same as my K70. It's maybe a little slower because the actuation point of the switches are maybe lower, but it's not that much. It's like maybe 5 or 10 millisecond difference, and in games that really is not a big difference. The other thing is the heft of the keys that people talk about, and that I don't really have a point against. That's more personal preference. People use Cherry MX greens for games all the time. It's not their preferred use, but it's all up to you. I think that the feel of the keyboard and how good it is for typing, it makes up for it being a little heavy when playing games. And I'm making this video because a lot of people, when I was researching for my Model M purchase, the 2-key rollover sounded like a terrible thing to me because I wouldn't be able to do my normal combinations. But again, the 2-key rollover is not the entire keyboard. I think there's 6 right there. It all depends on the keys you're pressing, and for the most part, and especially for games, especially in like this cluster right here, it's not going to be a big deal. It really won't affect the games you play or anything like that. So that's my 2 cents.